Unit 8, Lesson 3. The two big things out of here are going to be the terms frequency and distribution. Frequency is how often a number occurs. So in this data set here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 ones. So the number 1 has a frequency of 4 because it appears 4 times. What does the number 0 have a frequency of? Well, there's no 0, so it has a frequency of 0. That's what that means. Distribution refers to a description of how the data are arranged or distributed in the dot. We'll talk about that in just a bit because it's easier to show than to explain right here. So first of all, we're going to look at Priya, our best buddy here. Priya wants to know if basketball players on a men's team and a women's team have had prior experience in international competitions. International competitions like the Olympics, the Pan Am Games. They played in some tournament wherever else, somewhere not here. She gathered data on the number of times the players were on a team before 2016. So on the men's team, you had one person that had 3 different basketball competitions. One had one international competition, and everybody else had none. Women's team, there was 2, 3, 3, 1, 0, 2. So they're a little bit, hold on. I want to say that yet. Oh, darn it. So if we go to the men's team right here, and we're going to look the number of prior competitions that have 0, the number of that. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 people who had 0 prior competitions. How many had 1? There's 1. How many had 2? None. How many had 3? 1. Okay. Then we go to the women here. How many had 0 competitions? You have 1, 2, 3. How many had 1 competition? 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 and 1, 2, 2. And then how many had 3? 1, 2, 3. And the other thing I forgot to do over here, you should make sure that you're counting or adding up to the same number that you had up there, 10, 11, 12, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so now that you've made your little organized table, we're going to do a dot plot. So this is the men's team over here. We'll do different colors on this then. So on 0 competitions, that means I've got to get 10 dots. I'm going to struggle with this. 1, 8. Woohoo! One person had 1. Nobody had 2, so you don't put anything there. One person had 3, and nobody had 4. Sorry, so there's nothing there. So when you look at, hold on, let me finish this first. I keep getting ahead of myself. So excited. Okay, so the women's team, we have 3 people had 0 competitions. 4 people had 1. 2 people had 2. And 3 people had 3. And nobody had 4. So that's what they look like. So distribution. We talked about frequency. I think you understand that. Distribution, if I was to explain the distribution for the men's team, I would say most of the people had no prior experience because it's all distributed all towards one side. If you look at the women's team, I would say the distribution is pretty even. Say for the most part, it was kind of just all over the place. It's equally distributed out except for the 4, right? So most of the men's thing was squished down onto one side, that it's all over there. And the women were equally distributed, not equally, but closely equally distributed out, right? Because you look at those numbers, 3, 4, 2, 3, those are all pretty darn equal, okay? I'm not going to go through all of, oh wait, we already did that. So here's, fiddle faddle, hold on. I'll just use their dot plot as an example. one thing you need to make sure you do not do is if you were doing that, let's say there were 4 people with 4, and you came in here and you did it, and you said, okay, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Had 4 prior competitions. Well, what's the problem with this? Yeah, it looks like it's the same as 0 competitions or even slightly more. You have to make the dots all about the same size and they should go up. Sorry. And we are going to get to the questions. Oh, real quick, this is just a review on here. We're talking about Karan here, and he wants to know which 3 summer sports are most popular in his class. And here are all the answers. So the question is it categorical or numerical data? This is categorical data because they're in different categories. So when you would do the table, one of the sports, so you would write swimming, and I'm sure Audrey's like, woohoo, yeah, it's the best. And you would count the number of people who said swimming. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you would do that. I'm not going to finish that chart, but that's what that is. And then when you go down here and that information in the bar graph, you would write horizontally down here, swimming. We'll pretend that said swimming and it was, 5, right? Okay, well, we'll just pretend I forgot. And since it's a bar graph, we would do that. And we'd have another sport, and so on and so forth. And I'm sure we have Ron's little thing. So they did that. Here's your swimming, did that, and there's the bars and all that. They wrote this way, but there's no way I was writing across on there that small. All right. Lastly, oops, no, yes. Here we go. Oops. Okay, so teacher goes up on the board, draws a line segment that's 20 inches long. Okay, and says, uh, guys, how long do you think that is in inches? And takes everyone's answer. Boom, 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 boom. Does a dot plot. So how many students were in the class? How are you going to figure that out? You're going to count the number of dots, right? Whoa. I'm not sure you can hear that, but fire truck. 1, 4, 5, 10, 15, 19. 19 students, because there are 19 dots. And so were the students generally accurate in their estimates of the length of the line? So do you think they're about accurate? Well, yeah, in general, most people, because it was a 20-inch line. So here's the correct answer. And they're estimating, they're looking up there. Look at all these people who were within, right on or within an inch. So yeah, even the people who were wrong, person who is had 16 had the one that's the furthest off, wasn't really that far off from it. So I would say yes, they are all generally accurate. So when I'm looking at that, the distribution, I would say the distribution was pretty even between 19, 20, and 20. Okay, if you have any questions, ask on Google Classroom or anywhere else. Zoom. See ya. Bye.